No!
Christ.
That's your cold open? I thought the point of a cold open was that it was something that's taken out of context of the episode.
Oh. Is that how it goes? Oh, well.
Well, see, that is a cold open.
Okay. Sorry.
All right, perfect. Hold on.
Thank you for us for joining another episode of the Pig Podcast. We have a very special guest today.
Bang, bang.
Oh, that's
Say
when you're
it.
supposed to take over.
Oh, that's my job? Since when?
Our guest today, FTA for First in Michigan. Been doing this for 10 plus years. Long time. Been in the game. Senior FTA, Brittany Ammerman.
I appreciate that, but I've actually only been an FTA for 3 years.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was much longer.
Why?
Because
Because
I've
I'm
seen
really
her
good at my
everywhere.
job.
Yeah, really
Oh.
good at the job.
Okay.
I've seen her everywhere.
Iconic. Everywhere
Good
she
answer.
goes.
Yeah. So, well, let's dive into that. Where did you start? Were you an alumni? How did you just get started in volunteering?
Sure. I'll
Take
go
us back to it.
way from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I was a student on Team 2619, The Charge, out of Midland, Michigan. I joined my junior year, so actually didn't get involved super early on. But the minute I joined, I became like obsessed. Probably in the unhealthy way, to be honest.
Same.
I was the
Real.
leader of the software team. I was then the drive team the next year, and then after that, I was like the vice president, and then I left for college.
Oops.
So
What?
I had a lot of fun like while I was on the team.
What games were those?
That would be Recycle Rush
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
and
Nice.
Stronghold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and hot take, I loved Recycle Rush.
Yes, we do.
I loved
Three
Recycle Rush.
Yes, we
As-
do. Yes, we do.
I'm sorry. As a first year like driver, that was like the least pressure. Like it was a perfect opportunity for someone that was new to
Mhm.
Yeah.
driving. Like
Mhm.
maybe from the stands it was really boring, but I thought it was like a good compromise. And then after graduating from high school, I went to Purdue University to get my computer engineering degree. I actually was like, hey, I might want to be an FTA one day. And I thought it was going to be like a 10-year cycle.
Mhm.
I thought I'd have to be a ref for 2 years and then a CSA for 2 years and maybe a head ref. And then I got a message like the night before my first event. And they're like, hey, we don't have anybody in the FTAA position. Do you want to come help out?
Mhm.
And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Sure, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And that
You did
was
just fill up.
Steamworks. So we were there until like 1 a.m. trying to figure out how to set it up.
Mm.
But I've been an FTAA, or was an FTAA in Indiana for 4 years. Then kind of COVID hit and took a year off or whatnot, moved back to Michigan for a full-time job opportunity, and then was an FTAA again in Michigan for 1 year, kind of reestablished all my network of people, and then have been an FTA for the past 3 years. So
Mhm.
that's kind of like where I've been. And then
So you
I am
didn't do any other volunteering prior to doing FTA,
field
FTA,
reset?
no field reset.
Reset.
No.
I have been field reset.
Okay.
Okay.
I suck at it. I'm so bad at it.
Yeah.
They like put me on flag duty and I would just walk away. So but I think it's one of those things like once you kind of know too much, and then it was really hard to step back and be like, okay, this is my job today.
Yeah.
I've score kept, I've reffed at off seasons. I've probably done a lot of it, but like I naturally fall into the FTA
Yeah.
technical
That's probably
side roles.
really good for an FTA because you got to know everything, right? You run the whole show, run the whole
Yes.
thing. So being able to fill in for the other roles
Yeah, absolutely.
in case something happens, that's pretty good. Yeah. Cool.
Sure.
Okay.
So then how do you keep calm under pressure when you have all these things that you got to make sure that goes right? Like how do you keep your composure?
I don't.
You know?
Cool. Yeah.
No, I think if you were to ask some of the FTAAs or some of the people I interact with, like even the key volunteers, they've probably seen me at some of my worst. And there's some like head refs that I'll work with because head refs and FTAs will stand right next to each other and we'll vent to each other and we'll be like, this is not working. We're 25 minutes behind schedule. Like, what do we do? Like,
It won't close
but
the gate.
Right, exactly. The key is I have a trusted person that I let all like the sides of that I don't want other people to see out to so that I can get it out of my system. And then when I go interact with the teams, it's still that really positive, like making it that I'm there for them.
Mhm,
And that I think that's what the key is, being able to kind of
Compartmentalize it.
exactly like
Mhm.
make it so that there's a lot that's throwing at you, but
Mhm.
you're still making it positive for the kids, and it's hard to do actually.
It is. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, I bet.
as refs, when we get it. Yeah, we're gonna cut this. No, it's great to compartmentalize because like it can be very frustrating at competitions, but it's important to remember that like we're there for one reason, and that reason is to make sure Chris gets his food on
Yes.
time.
Of course, I need to be fed, or else the event goes kapoosh.
And that's why I try to keep the event on schedule so that Chris can eat
Yeah, 'cause
lunch
if
right
Chris-
when it's hot.
If
Yeah.
Chris doesn't eat, then he's gonna take that out on the teams in full and penalties.
Do you have a favorite event you've done? It could be Michigan or Indiana.
Or IRI.
I have been to IRI.
Why is IRI?
Why is IRI?
I think I do have a favorite event, but I will disclaim it by saying that it's mostly become a favorite event because I've done it 3 years in a row now.
Mm.
So it's really about like I've established a volunteer crew that's always with me.
Yeah.
The ECVC duo I'm also friends with, and like it's kind of become like a family oriented event, and it's
Mhm.
really about the people. So that's Troy, which is normally week
Yep.
4 or 5, right? It's just got. I mean, you guys are there, right?
Philip's there.
Not me. I wasn't assigned.
Okay, well next year I'll talk to Srini next year.
Yeah.
I'll get you on there.
Thank you.
No, I totally agree. I think for me, the more I've been doing this, it matters less about where I'm at and more about who's there for sure.
Yes,
Oh,
I will
absolutely.
say
Yeah.
there was one event that I went to that was the bathroom was always out of toilet paper, and that
Can't
can
have
ruin
that.
it.
Yep.
But,
It can, yeah.
but
Yeah,
it was
'cause-
really good people otherwise. But like, it's as a volunteer, like they do take really good care of you, right? We get really good food and, but like little housekeeping things like that.
No,
are
yeah,
key
for sure.
things
Yeah.
to, like,
If I have to walk
do.
a mile to the bathroom, I hate the venue.
Game over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sucks.
we don't have time for that.
Actually, yeah. How about favorite part of running the event? Setup, actually running it, tear down.
Yeah, so I think we know I have a nickname. I have a reputation. I've built myself into kind of the trailer aspect of it. And we could talk a little bit more about that. But from like that perspective, my favorite part is probably setup and tear down. But that's just solely because of who I am as a person and the way my brain works.
Mhm.
Like in my day job, I am a project program manager. That's exactly what this is project management of a field setup or a field teardown or all these people. And that's just what I'm naturally good at. So that's kind
yeah.
of where that natural love for it comes from. And then I just really like fitting boxes and spaces that they shouldn't fit in. Like it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
mentally in my brain, that's just, it's just,
It's satisfying.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
it
it
is. And that's where
clicks.
the whole like love for trailer packing really came from.
Mhm.
I'll say that like sometimes I feel guilty because especially like when I was in early FTA, I was like, I feel like I should be doing the dirty work. I should be on my hands and knees and putting tape down. And then as an FTA, sometimes I feel guilty that I'm not doing that. But I'll sit in the middle of the field and I'll just like look at everything that's going on around me. And that is part of my job because what I'm really doing is I'm thinking 2 steps ahead, 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead of what is going to happen next and how do we prevent any bottlenecks from happening? How do I set my, like the groups of people that are working on a specific task up for success so that they can continue? And it's a hard talent that you won't appreciate until you don't have it and setup goes for 8 hours. But it's one of the things that I think I'm really good at and I'm kind of proud of.
Yeah.
Cool.
So proud you made your own t-shirt about it, huh?
Yeah,
I did. It's my favorite thing.
It is epic.
I like to challenge people on it, see if they can name what road case is which.
Oh.
Case like for the people that is watching, right? This is the trailer, right? And all these squares and rectangles are the road cases and the
And Chris, can you tell me what is what?
No,
Wait.
not the numbers.
This
Maybe the
one's-
road
It doesn't
cases.
have to tell me what the
Let's
number
see.
is. Tell me what, like, you could describe it.
Wait, is this 133?
No.
Bottom
Okay,
right.
that's the only number I know.
These go inside stuff, and they go inside, and these also
No,
go,
okay.
yeah.
So the gate cart's at the very top,
Yes.
easy, and then the 4 open tops. So for this year, it would be the 2 coral ones, probably on the outside, I think, or
One
inside.
coral.
One coral,
And
one
then
reef.
3 open tops. Yeah, one reef and 3
yeah,
open tops.
okay. Open tops, and then the tote wall, and then everything else. I have no idea, and I just I get out of the way so somebody else can do it.
No, that's actually really good because
that's the first
the front
part I
half
know.
doesn't really change year
Right,
after year.
yeah.
It's
Right.
always the same.
Right.
But the back half,
Don't know.
good luck.
Don't-
And
Yeah,
I'm
it
not.
depends.
I'm not gonna act like I know, and I'm gonna get out of the way and go to the bath, go find Jason's backpack.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I wouldn't really know much about this because I keep losing my backpack, and it's always gone during teardown. So unfortunately, I don't have a ton of experience.
If you want to help find Jason's backpack, you can go to shop.pitpodcast.com, powered by
Yeah.
Royal Surgery, and get the Jason's backpack T-shirt. So that part of the trailer doesn't change too much. That's pretty nice. That's something, especially for FIM, because we don't have large semi trucks. We have our own trailers that we
Yes.
use, so that makes it easier for us to plan and rearrange stuff. Is there any improvement that you can think of from HQ, Papa Colin, to help make things easier for districts, especially with like California, for example, who's going to be starting out their district model? They are getting help from HQ, but we've kind of had to do things differently. Is there anything you wish you
what I
would
learned
get?
this year was I actually don't think HQ knew that we packed in trailers.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Like
That's
or
fair.
like the extent of how we packed.
Mhm, mhm.
So like all of the regionals, they get semi trucks, they get forklifts or fork trucks,
Yeah.
and they like to come
Yeah.
in, right?
You mean they got forklift certified operators at these events?
I think a lot of the FTAs do it. I don't know if I assume they're certified
Okay.
for safety
They
purposes.
legally.
Cool.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, shit.
There is someone at the venue that is certified to operate a fork truck.
Nice.
Okay.
Someone, at least someone. Yes, and
That
so
could
like
be me. Then
it could be.
it could be.
We could make that
I'm not,
happen.
but it could be.
You find your
Terrifying to see you
backpack.
on a fork.
Anyway.
So I think they're really open to working with us now that they know some of the dimensions. And we did a lot of work this year to get the dimensions of the trailer, the dimensions of the road cases, how our stuff differs from what HQ actually sends out.
Mhm.
And if they don't even have that information, how are they going to help us?
Mhm.
So now we're able to work with them and kind of be like, this is kind of what our restriction is.
Mhm.
And when you have 6 of them throughout the state, you can't have something that is restrictive to operate, right? That's really the problem. And Indiana actually did 2 box trucks.
Mhm.
And there are like benefits and concerns to both. So like when you have a box truck or a semi truck, you have to use the lift gate. The open tops don't fit on those lift gates. You have to
Yeah.
put them in on a diagonal, and that is
Mm.
just like a safety.
Okay, I didn't know this until Kettering All Stars
Sure.
when we had an Indiana field.
Yeah.
Insane, by the way.
Why? What's your favorite part about it?
This giant ass crate was going. Like the wheels were off the lift.
It was
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
a little close.
Like
Yeah.
only 80% of the wheels were actually on the lift when it was going up, and this thing weighs like hundreds of pounds, right?
They're like 1,000 pounds each.
I cannot believe this is a thing we do, or they do. We
Indiana
don't do
does,
this.
yeah.
But, yeah.
Anyways,
If we had a loading dock,
Or a fork
Mm.
game
truck.
over, yeah. Or yeah, fork truck, yeah.
Because a fork truck, you just
Yep,
take it, pop
easy.
it right in. It's
Mhm.
kind of nice.
Anyone, you guys want to ask a question?
yeah. So, how does First work with them? If you can give us a little insight into the behind the scenes, behind the curtain,
Are you talking more from a team perspective or a volunteer
from a
perspective?
volunteer's perspective, like packing the trailers, like what does that coordination kind of look like?
It is pretty much. Okay, so at the end of every year, we ship back our road cases pretty
Mm.
much empty with anything that's not game specific.
Okay.
And then they just ship us next year's content back to us.
Oh, okay. So the road cases belong to First, or do we just give them
Think.
ours
I
and
don't
then
know,
they just fill it up?
I think they do belong to First.
Okay.
And then there's certain things they ask for every year. So like the computer that runs the operating system, they might take those back every year because they'll do updates.
Okay.
Mm.
But then like all the trusses, so like the truss to make this year's barge, we actually own those.
Okay.
So we keep those in the First in Michigan warehouse.
That's part of the evergreen, right? Is it officially
Kind
or?
of. It's one of those things that first has started to use over and over again.
Mhm.
So we just bought it instead of it's expensive
we
to
bought it.
ship it back
Okay.
and forth.
Oh.
I think.
Yeah.
Disclaimer that I don't know if any of this is true.
Oh, that's fine. You
That's
could say
funny.
anything, and I believe it.
Okay, cool.
Um, Okay, so that's cool. So you just ship them back like the empty road case, and they just when do you get the road cases back? Is that after kickoff or?
Yeah, so from a timeline perspective of like what does this look like from an FTA or like a field supervisor perspective, the people that actually like some of your technical key volunteers. So if kickoff is like the first weekend of January, about 2 or 3 weeks later, there's a small subset of people that will go out to HQ
Mm.
and we'll do a 2-day training. And it's like super intensive, like 8 to
Oh.
5, full day. It's like a conference kind of
wow.
thing.
Yeah.
We have like 7 to 9 sessions and you just kind of rotate through. And you get to be taught how the field components are made by the
Mm.
people that design them.
That's cool.
That is
Yeah.
so cool.
Wow.
So I've been out twice. You go out your rookie year, and then this year we didn't have any rookies, so they sent some veterans out that they thought would be good teachers.
Mm.
So like this year I went out, I learned about the barge in one session, I learned about the reef in one session, I learned about the processors in a session. They do scorpion testing on us, so they'll break something on the scorpion and tell us to fix it.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait,
so like
what
technical
is
training.
what is the scorpion?
The scorpion is like the software that runs the network of the field.
Oh, okay.
It's the brown case.
Yeah, it's like a deep
Road case,
purple.
yeah, by the-
It's
Maroon
30.
color.
It's colored. It's number 33.
33.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that just came to me magically.
Yeah.
That's actually so cool. I love learning behind the scenes stuff like
Yes.
that.
So then, like after we like a handful of like so for regionals all regional FTAs will go out. For districts, they do like a teach the teacher method.
Mhm.
So a handful of us will go out and then we'll come back and teach everybody else. And so we go out, we learn, and then 2 weeks later, all of our stuff comes to us
Mm.
and we inventory it. And then we'll also do a FTA or key volunteer training weekend. And we'll teach everybody things we've already, they taught us at HQ. So this year there was like 6 of us that went out and we led the different sessions.
Mm.
We tried to do like not only the technical skills, so like how do you build a reef, but we also tried to do like how do you manage conflict? Like when does that happen? And I know as refs, you guys probably get a
Yeah.
little bit more of that than we do.
We just pass it to the head
You'd be
ref.
surprised. No, I've actually
Yeah.
seen a couple of those trainings, and you guys actually go over like what to do in a fire, what to do with an
Yes.
active shooter.
Yes.
So I think that's really awesome that that's covered with both the field soup, FTA, FTAs, and yeah, all the key volunteers, like you said. So that's really cool that you guys are so prepared to in case of an emergency for the event.
Yeah, we're really other than like the event coordinator and the volunteer coordinator,
Mhm.
really like
You're
person
running the-
everybody goes to.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we want to be
Yeah.
prepared for absolutely everything.
Mhm.
And there have been fires, right? So we do need to be
Yeah.
prepared for
Dexter
it.
Dreadbot, let's go.
There's been some magic smoke.
Have you used a fire extinguisher at an event? I'm a
No.
robot. Okay.
But
Philip has.
there
Most
was one
instances.
event where I was holding the fire extinguisher for the whole match because
really?
like we were like something smells and it smells really bad, and like when you get nervous you're like I'd rather be prepared, and then you like I just hold it and I'm like okay, who is it and where is it? I
kinda
use
like
my
a
nose a
safety
lot
blanket.
actually. Like I'll walk around the field and be like who is it? Where is it coming?
Yeah.
You have to really rely on
You're
your
like, oh,
senses.
it's just that human player.
oh,
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
No.
Wow.
He's not wrong though. He's not wrong.
Showers
That's
are not
great.
optional.
No.
Yes. Yeah, I prefer showered
Mhm.
volunteers, showered students. I would agree.
Is there a favorite year that you like to set up and tear
Oh, yeah,
down?
yeah,
Is
yeah.
there a good year that you
Let's talk about this, but I also want to hear your thoughts on 2016 because I heard this was dangerous.
Stronghold.
Yeah.
So I was a student that year, so I
Oh,
don't know
right,
if
okay.
I would have, but I did hear it broke a lot of. It didn't break ankles. It was like taking a razor scooter to your ankles, like
Mm.
those things. They're industrial, yeah. They held up, but they were
Yeah,
also like
they
really
did.
hard to get in and out of like the bases.
Mm.
And then you have like a lot of volunteers that might like we get older, our knees get worse, and they were like pushing on the ground. So that I think is hard just from like an overall perspective. I do think the game was really cool, and in concept it was really neat. But HQ has been doing so good the past 2-3 years. So from a technical standpoint on setting up and tearing down, we love zip ties. Zip ties and gaff tape, favorite thing ever, because you give a student a pair of snips and you say, go cut all of these or put all these on the same way. And that's really helpful. But the minute you have to do like hardware, you need a drill and then you're going to lose the hardware or it can be done the wrong way. We also use a lot of PEM nuts, which means that if you use a torque gun, you're going to ruin them. So you can't use a torque gun. So there's just a little bit more like supervision that's required for those kind of perspective. I will say like this year though, this game, phenomenal. We like even applauded HQ, the mechanical team, in our FTA Slacks because there was like events where I didn't even talk to them. So like every event, I get added to a channel, and this is like directly with HQ, and I have a technical support person, and I have an electrical and like kind of software support people, and then I also have mechanical support people, and they're just two different channels on Slack, and like mechanicals to support mechanical things. I might send them a picture and be like, does this look right? How does this look to you guys? But this like year, I would go a whole event and not even talk to him because the field was so good to set up and tear down. It went up pretty easily. It went down stupid fast. And there just wasn't technical issues. And I think we really applauded HQ on kind of the progress that they made. I think they've seen that. And so I'm really looking forward to see like kind of what they do these next few years. The biggest thing is making sure that we're building a field and a game that does not crack polycarb because we're doing the back and forth. That's the safety aspect of it. And you might have even seen this year, they have like ratchet straps that go, the yellow things. We kind of prematurely just did that to make sure nothing falls apart, to make sure that we're able to deal with all the high speed and all the technological advancements that the robots have been doing.
So what kind of like do you have like any bit of like freedom when it comes to, because I know we're in a district, so how much freedom does that give you when you're dealing with the field? Like, do you decide which bolts to put the red paint pen on, or
So I would say that is more of something that we do. Like when I said we had the FTA training that we do, we'll kind of like talk about how do we pack the trailer and what can we keep together. So those red bolts are really, or like the red marker on the bolts is really just something that we've kind of tried to say, let's kind of keep this common district wide so that when you go from like, if I get trailer 2 one week and then I get trailer 3 next week and they look completely different, that's problematic. So it's more about consistency among the district. I could have been part of those conversations. I don't know. But like, I think it's a group effort to say like, hey, this is a good idea. We should keep this together. This is going to make our lives easier. Like the hub things from
22.
Yes. Those we kept together. Those were
so awkward to move.
They were awkward to move, but they were really awkward to put together. So it's easier to move them than it was to consistently tear them apart and bring them back together.
So do they help you with the trailer packing diagram, or is that just all
that's
you?
all me and way too much free time.
We're gonna miss that.
So I have like a good doc that's started, which is like literally it's hand drawn on my iPad in an app. Like it's not technical in any way, shape, or form. We could go in and do like a CAD software if we wanted to of it. I don't have the talent or the time to want to do that. But if somebody else wants to, call me. I got a job for you. That is all us kind of like learning from years past on what works, what doesn't work, and just adapting. I forgot what your question was.
It was all right. So you designed the trailer pack diagram.
Yes.
Have you ever gotten a so they send you the road cases, right? Have you ever gotten these road cases back and you're like, this isn't gonna fit?
This year.
This year, actually.
This year,
Really?
yeah.
Yes.
So this year, okay, so normally they send you 4 open tops, and then there might be like a game-specific crate. So like the year, I should have had a list of like all the games. The one with the grid and the charged up.
23,
Thank you. All those grid pieces came in like a little plywood crate that was easy for them to roll.
I remember that one. Yeah, that thing was dumb.
And then last year we had the sensors, the note counters,
Mm,
and those came
Yeah.
on like
wire racks.
a wire rack. Yeah. So like those were unique to games specific. And then this year we normally get 4 open tops. We only got 3, but then we got 2 reef carts. And so the reef was so good because it was so easy to assemble, but it came in these reef carts that we didn't necessarily have the floor space for. So floor space is our biggest issue.
Right.
And I was at HQ and I was like, this is not going to fit. I have no idea how we're going to get this to work. And I was like thinking, and after a margarita or 2, it started to come together. So there's like 6 of us at this place. It's literally called Margaritas. And we're like playing with like markers at dinner. Like, okay, what if we do this? What if we do that? And we're all like just trying to draw how this trailer is going to work without seeing it, without trying to play, like actually get the components. And I think it's hard because like that reef was so easy to put together. But like because things were bigger, it also took more space in our trailer. And so that's where kind of to Nate's point, like after the first kind of half, it's a free for all and kind of what kind of works. And so we often like that one year with the wooden crate for the L brackets on the grid, we didn't use it. We ended up stacking it on top of 19 and 33 because they do stack really nicely. But that means we had to hand carry
all of them,
30 L pieces in
Individual.
and out of the trailer.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
there's Velcro on one of the sides. So if you put it down on the carpet, it sticks. And not all the students knew that.
No.
So it's a balancing act of like using the resources that are available to us, but also then just making them work to what we need to.
Okay. So in the event something doesn't fit, like let's say you just didn't have the floor space for these reef carts, would you have just simply had to be like, we just gotta take this stuff out and figure out a different
I was
solution
thinking
for
of
it?
the ref panels actually this year.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Right.
You want to tell that story?
We're doing trailer pack for this year, and I'm there to pick stuff up and put stuff down. I'm not there to use my brain. Okay, I just want to pick.
You were not
use
a
my
Brittany.
muscles and lift stuff. Yeah, and I hear some of the other FTAs who are there. They're talking about how we're gonna fit the ref case. Right, we got new ref panels this year. How are we gonna fit the ref case in the trailer? Right, it's big and it's really nice. We've had the previous ref road case.
34.
Yeah, 34 got updated. I think this one was smaller this year. The
It's-
new 34.
30. The new 34 looks like 6 and 7, which is shorter
Oh, yeah,
with like shorter floor space, but taller.
Yeah. So they're trying to figure out where we're gonna put all this, and we ended up going back and forth. We ended up just not getting rid of the road case, but not using it this year. Tucking all the bases in the reef carts, and then the poles and the panels went in some other totes.
Yes.
And
yeah.
then we put some foam padding and stuff. So
So really, like,
got rid of the whole road case.
That makes sense because I was like, I don't think I've seen a ref road case like this whole year.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
because it
Where's
was
34?
changed to totes. We essentially said we don't have those
Oh.
floor space for this, but the contents of it could be going in totes.
Okay.
So, and we always like, there's plenty of overhead for stuff like totes. The other problem with that was when we took away that road case, all the lights that light up the barge were normally stored in there.
Oh, right.
So we had to figure out where we were going to put
Oh.
those. And this comes back to like, how do we keep it consistent among the district? That's the most important thing. Is like, if I go to this event, I should be able to find something in this specific place, so that the next FTA, whoever gets it, isn't like where is this one random component that is so crucial that you like we can't find it.
Yeah, got some guilty FTAs of that. Yeah. Do you have any favorite FTAs you like to work with?
Any least favorites?
Ooh.
Sure, there's a ton of
Or-
those, right?
Maybe
Room for improvement FTAs.
you can tell us, and then we'll cut it, and then we'll all be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, all the audio will just be like quiet and silent. Like,
I think so. When we actually, here's some more behind the scenes stuff. The way we kind of match up for events is we all say, okay, these are my technical skills, or these are my skills, and this is where I'm physically located. So like I'm in Metro Detroit. The chances of me going and working with a West Side FTA is probably slim.
yeah.
Just because we're physically in different places. But part of that matching process is saying, okay, you're good at this. Let's match you with someone that's good at that. So like I personally advertise my skills as people and program management. That's really what I'm really good at. So I often get paired with someone that's like really technically sound. because then we really balance each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it also helps then reduce any conflict because we're not focused on the same things.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you'll see like a mechanical person that aligned with an electrical person or a software person, and that's kind of the balance. Like I said, I kind of do more of the people side and like the program side, but I'll also fill any holes. So like if I'm paired with an electrical person, I'll fill the mechanical side. If I'm paired with a mechanical person, I'll fill the software side. I have a background in computer engineering, and then my master's is in manufacturing engineering. Like
Okay.
Oh, cool.
I know a little about a lot.
Yeah.
We do have some like FTAs that are like, I could rewrite FMS if I had to, and I'd be like, I cannot. So like,
Just talk
I'm
about you,
glad
Philip.
yeah, right, exactly.
Oh,
Between
yeah, fair,
Soren
yeah.
and Philip, they're gonna come up with Cheesy Arena Part 2.
Yeah.
We have.
Exactly. There you go.
That's funny, but funny you mentioned Cheesy Arena, whatever. So you're going to California.
Why do you hate us?
I don't hate you guys. I hate the Michigan
Work
winter. That's
related.
really, to be honest, the driving
True.
factor.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair enough. North California, South California.
I'll be in like Silicon
Okay.
Valley, like Bay Area. So
Cool.
North,
Okay.
Wow.
North
That's awesome.
California.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Will you be continuing volunteering? And are you excited for California districts?
I would like to continue volunteering. I've already kind of started some of those conversations, and they're like, "Hey, so we're gonna see you at Sunset Showdown," and I'm like, "I guess I'll be there."
Yeah.
That's an awesome invite, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes. So
yeah.
I've got a lot of like friends from college that are out there. I've got like I said, I went to HQ, so I've met some of these people before. And actually, I think one of them used to be in Indiana. So like I know some of the people already. With a big move does come a lot of change. So like I'm excited to get back into it, but I'm also interested in like kind of taking my time to make sure I'm keeping a valid balance in my robot life and my everything else life.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I will be looking forward to ideally FTAing out there. I think it's going to be really exciting to try to establish the standards for their
Yeah,
districts.
their new
Yeah.
district.
New district.
Yeah. But I also have no idea what that entails. So
Right,
like
because it's managed by First or
HQ.
HQ.
Yeah.
and-
They get a lot of support from them, so it's gonna be.
sure.
That's kind of what we were talking about on I think Philip's episode or an earlier one, where it's like Michigan, we did it first. We have free reign. We're kind of doing our own thing, and
Yeah.
on
some
the
level
flip
of
side,
autonomy.
yeah, you got California, who's got a lot of support from HQ, and so it's gonna be different, right? Do you need to get approval from HQ to do this because this costs money and this and that, and who knows what's gonna happen, right?
I think a lot's going to come down to like the primary program delivery partner,
Mhm.
PDP.
Yeah.
That's right. Right. We have a great one in Michigan who's very experienced and just kind of knows how to run the show. And they might run it differently out in California, and that's fine. It's just going to be a different kind of personality, different kind of plan of action. But just establishing that from zero is a lot harder than establishing it and just like renewing it and refreshing it every
Yeah,
year.
right,
So
right,
that's
yeah.
going to be, it's just going to be growing pains, I think. But I'm
Mhm.
excited to bring like what I already know to kind of the California area.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're gonna be lucky to have you.
Yeah. Well, we're
Very
excited. We
experienced.
we hope we can have you back on in a year so we can learn all about
Okay.
how that works.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm
Um,
hoping to come back. Like, I'm hoping that this isn't bye forever.
Mhm.
I'm hoping like maybe if States falls on a good weekend, come visit for States or something like that, and it kind of navigates into an interesting topic. I think one of the hard things about Michigan is actually that there are 6 events every weekend, which means your volunteer crew can get really spread out.
Mhm.
That's my favorite thing about States is because everybody's in one building together, and all your friends from like this event and your friend from that event and the random person you met week 2 but
Yeah.
now you're best friends with,
Yeah,
like they're
yeah.
all there now. And that's the fun thing about States. And so hopefully I'll be back for States to kind of have a reunion with everybody and see how like you guys do without me, without a trailer deck.
It'll be tough. It's gonna be very tough. But other than that, so you've mentioned that you volunteered in Indiana before, right?
Yes.
And obviously extensively here. What is like the biggest difference between Indiana and FIM from your perspective? Like Indiana versus FIM. Like what are the compare and contrast of these two districts from your
Sure.
eye?
I think like to set the stage, maybe we can get a quick Google search on like how many teams there are. There are maybe, I don't want to like undersell Indiana. I want to say maybe 80, 100 teams. Michigan's what, 500, 600?
Yeah, real close
Right.
to 500, I think.
So like 71 in
Really?
Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And how many in
Whoa.
Michigan? 525 in Michigan. So like, and that's just statistics, right? That is nothing to do with anybody. That's just a size difference, right?
How many teams in Indiana in 2017?
So Indiana's rocking probably only one event.
Oh my goodness! Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so Indiana only does one event every weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Michigan does the number of events Indiana does in a season in one weekend.
Oh my God.
And so that's one of the differences and kind of what I was talking about with states is you get the same volunteer crew at every event. Because where else are they going to go?
There's
Right?
only
Like
one.
everybody's
Right.
really wants to give back to the program. But because you only have one event to manage, there's some other things that you can do. So Indiana's like a really cool AV setup. They've got like a whole box truck of just AV.
Oh really?
Their
That's crazy.
Hype and Drape is owned by them. They don't rent it out with Artcraft. They
Nice.
own their own projectors. They have their own speakers. Like their AV setup is really cool. And actually, I'm friends with the guy that kind of started some of it. But that just comes from a sustainability perspective. If we were to try to do that for 6 events every year,
You need a bigger warehouse.
You're right. You're right.
we need a lot more volunteers, right? You'd burn out way too quickly.
Yeah.
And so I think like that's one of the cool things about Indiana is you do get a lot of same people at every event, but that also makes it a little bit harder to kind of explore different roles because you just have less gaps.
Right.
And so I was like an FTAA in Indiana for 4 years. I kind of went in knowing that I didn't want to FTA when I was in college. That was a boundary I'd set for myself. But like, then there was like 2 of us competing for one spot. So how like it's just a little bit
Cutthroat.
different. Yeah.
Right. How many
Last
FTA spots were there? Was it just one?
They try to do 2 per event. I want to say
Okay.
there were 4 FTA. Indiana's hard because Andy Mark's there. And Andy Mark has rent and FTA options, and a lot of them are regional FTAs.
Oh.
So like
Okay.
there were like 13 FTAs in the state of Indiana,
Huh.
but only 4 of them were maybe Indiana FTAs.
Okay.
They're like
Interesting.
actually that seems like a really high number. That might be way wrong, but like point still stands. There were a lot of
That's a
FTAs
lot.
that also work like for India or Andy Mark, but they do regionals.
Yeah.
They might support like an India event because it's local, but they're not normally like the Indiana FTAs.
Okay.
We have 26 FTAs in the state of Michigan.
Lot.
Yes.
So how many events does a Michigan FTA do per season?
Our goal is to have enough FTAs so that you only have to do 2 or 3 events a season.
Okay.
Because we're trying to work on not burning out.
Right.
So we want to be able for you to set those boundaries as you see fit for yourself.
Okay, that makes sense. I know a lot of people would probably like to say they could do 6 weeks, but I bet someone in a position like that, after all that amount of time, would probably burn out pretty quickly.
And we've been there. We've had to do that before. Like when I was a student, I think the FTAs did like 6 events, or like you'll have a rookie FTA solo for their first event. Like right. I think we're in a way better situation now that we've created a streamline, we've created a pipeline, and this is all due to our lead FTAs. There's 3 of them. They've really established this and kind of made it better and more sustainable for all of us. And now, like when I was a rookie FTA, I was paired with someone that I worked with really well for my first event, and someone that was really senior, and they were more of a mentor in that position for me. And now I've been able to do that for other people. I worked with an FTA that was their first event. And it gives them the opportunity to grow without feeling they've been hit by a bus, because
Right.
that your first event as an FTA, you're like, everybody's asking me questions every second. Like somebody wants to know where I can find water. And I'm like, I don't know. Or like, where is this one specific component? And I will put on my smiley face and I'll walk around and be like, okay, let's go look for it together. Because I genuinely don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But like that is the role. Is like you're like it's almost like mom when you're like, Mom, where's my backpack? Mom, where's my sock?
Yeah.
That's exactly what
I'm
it is.
asking that
Everybody
question a
comes to
lot.
you. I know you keep losing your
Yeah.
backpack. You gotta-
Keep missing Teardown.
well, I'll make you a shirt so you can't miss it.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. I'll take the sacrifice.
Thank you.
Speaking of shirts,
You like shirts, right, Nate?
I do like shirts. Brittany, thank you for joining us.
thank you for us for joining.
We would love to have you
For us.
again in a year once you've been in
California
California
five.
and gotten that experience.
Thank you.
We can't wait to see that perspective. Pit Crew, remember to like and subscribe to Pit Podcast here on YouTube. Remember to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Fill out the question form if you have any questions for us or if you want any questions for Brittany or any of our other guests that we've gotten. Request a cameo from Chris. He's going to do something crazy. Maybe we'll make Chris become an FTA for
That
a
would
day.
be crazy.
That'd be
that
funny.
Would be crazy.
Get our new merch powered by Royal Shirtery. Shop.pitpodcast.com. Help Jason find his backpack so that he can do Teardown with Brittany. That's
Thank
the
you.
dream. Thank you so much. We'll see you at the competition.
Bang.
You can't do that.